The luxury goods market fail. Hey everyone, it's Wolfgang. So we're going to take a look at the luxury goods market and how that reflects the U.S. economy. We're going to see that there's softness in the luxury goods market, and we're going to sort of dive down below the surface and take a look at what's going on. Because the chairman of the Federal Reserve today did not lower interest rates. The claim was the job market is quite healthy. So we'll take a look at the luxury goods market and why it's not doing well right now. So the middle class luxury goods buyer is pretty much gone from the scene. A lot of these types of buyers, the middle class folks who buy luxury items, it's aspirational. Generally, when someone has excess cash, when they're confident about the future, middle class folks will tend to buy luxury items. And those folks are kind of gone from the scene in the luxury market. The U.S. middle class has stopped buying luxury goods to a large extent. And the reason is there's not too much confidence in the job market. And we'll take a look at that as we go through here. So all the luxury brands are suffering right now. Gucci, Cartier, Louis Vuitton, Tag Heuer, Kering, Burberry, and so on. So they're all reporting a big drop in sales. So what is behind the drop in the luxury goods market? The most important thing is the shaky job market. Okay, so despite what the Federal Reserve said today, the claim that the job market is very healthy, is actually not true. Okay, the job market is struggling. The long-term unemployed, the number of people who have been jobless for more than 6 months, is the highest it's been since 2021. Long-term unemployed people, they're staying unemployed at larger numbers than 2021. Interest rates are high. When you're buying luxury goods, those are high-ticket items. Often those are financed. When interest rates are high, it reduces the number of people who are going to, take out loans to buy luxury goods. The number of people quitting their job is at a 10-year low. So this is very important, okay? Because this is in high contrast to what the Fed said today at the meeting where they're not changing interest rates. The Fed keeps claiming the job market is very strong. Okay, the number of people quitting their job is at a 10-year low. Now, why would that be? It's because they know that the long-term unemployed is an issue. They probably know people. I think we all know people who have been unemployed for 6 months or longer. So there's an awareness of that. So they don't want to quit their job. And these folks, they also know there's very little hiring right now. The job market is weak, despite what the Federal Reserve keeps claiming. When the number of people with enough confidence to quit their job, it's the lowest in 10 years. That's screaming from the rooftops that the job market is not strong, is not healthy. So if you're not sure about your job and your income, buying luxury goods, is kind of like the last thing on your mind to spend your money on luxury goods when you may be out of work and not be able to find another job. So there's also fears of recession because people sense that the economy is slowing. So how are people cutting spending? Let's take a look at this. So because people are cutting their spending, they're reducing their spending. Wages are not growing. This is an important part. Wages are not growing when the job market is weak, when there are a lot of unemployed. And again, the long-term unemployed people, that number, it's the highest since 2021. There's no reason for employers to give raises. They know the job market's weak. They're in the driver's seat. They're the ones providing the jobs. So wages are not growing. People are buying essentials only. Essentials, food, clothing, shelter, gas for the car. So Deloitte did a study this year, 2025, 50%, half of households in the U.S. have no surplus money after buying essentials, food, shelter, gas. So when half the population can only afford the essentials, they're not going to buy luxury goods, right? So this is a big part of how people are cutting their spending. They're not buying anything unless it's essential. And that's a big reason into why the luxury goods market is failing. So let's see here. Did I cover everything? So people are canceling Disney and Netflix. I mean, Disney has kind of gone on a rampage with, multiple, I think it's more than one person using the same password. They want everyone to have a separate account. And so people are rejecting that and cutting back. Netflix has raised prices. So those are non-essentials because you can get entertainment for free in some spots. It may not be the same breadth, the same selection, but in a pinch, when half the households do not have surplus money after buying essentials, and Disney and Netflix are trying to squeeze you for money, people are walking away from those streaming services because they're not in touch with the reality. They're probably paying attention to the Federal Reserve and believing what the Federal Reserve is saying. They're raising prices. Netflix, Disney is trying to force everyone into their own subscription. So it's not working. People are cutting back on those. Another way that people are cutting spending, they're canceling outside the home entertainment. That would include concerts, movies, things like that. And a telltale sign for this, watch for music celebrities to cancel concert tours. And that's the reason is they're suffering from low ticket sales because they sell the tickets in advance. They announce the concert. People start buying the tickets. They know if they're going to break even because the promoters have to be paid. The venue where they hold a concert has to be paid. And if they don't have enough ticket sales, they cancel the tour, the concert tour. And so pay attention if you hear about a canceled tour from a big celebrity. This is kind of why. This is what's going on. People are canceling outside the home entertainment. Half the population of our country can only afford essentials. They have nothing left after paying for essentials. They're not spending on concerts and movies. They're not buying luxury goods. So also, by the way, when these stars cancel concert tours, they will often come up with the excuse of an illness. Almost, it's repeated that these folks will cancel a tour and blame some sort of illness or a hospital visit, almost without fail. It's very consistent. And the reality is people have not bought enough tickets. They have to at least break even to have the tour. So right now we're suffering the largest drop in luxury goods purchases since 2008. So 17 years ago. 17 years ago, we have not seen this low a level of the purchasing of luxury goods in 17 years. Okay, now think about that. The 2008 Great Financial Crisis, that was a huge crash. 17 years ago, it took many years. It took almost a decade to fully recover the economy from that crash. Okay, and luxury goods have not been this poor since that time. So the question is, could 4.2% unemployment be truthful? Answer, probably not. The average unemployment rate is about 6%. 6%. So right now we're being told that the job market is very healthy and unemployment is way below average. It's 4.2% supposedly, which is far below the 6% average. But we've got the largest drop in luxury goods spending in 17 years. We've got a 10-year low in people being confident enough to quit their job in the hopes of finding a new job. Something is out of skew here, and this number is what is out of skew. So I mentioned this before in prior videos that we suspect the Bureau of Labor Statistics is not providing accurate data to the Fed. The ADP payroll report might be more accurate because it actually shows people earning a paycheck. But this is clearly, this can't possibly, these things cannot both be true. 10-year low in people having the confidence to quit their job to try to find a new job. 17-year low in luxury goods purchases. So the luxury goods market is a good economic indicator because when people feel confident, when we have more than 50% of the population feeling good enough about their economic situation to buy luxury goods, sure, maybe we've got 4.2% unemployment. But the reality is the economics, using luxury goods, this market as an economic indicator, really sheds light on that number, the 4.2% unemployment. This can't possibly be right. They can't both be true. That the job market is quite healthy, and yet no one's buying luxury goods, and people are afraid to quit their jobs. So we operate a consumer-facing business. We have seen a slowdown in the consumer. And we know we're not the only ones because we do research to figure out, is it us? Is there something we're doing wrong, or are other businesses suffering the same problem? And the answer is, across the economy, in most states, businesses there's a big slowdown. So you really have to take the 4.2% unemployment with a grain of salt. We do not believe that is an accurate number. So here's a question for everyone. For those of you who are focused on trying to do a good job at work so you can stay employed, are you planning on buying any luxury items right now? Right now, the vast majority of the U.S. population is only buying essentials. Even people who are confident in their job are wary about discretionary spending, about spending money on things unless they need them. People who are doing well are in saving mode. more than spending mode, because they see the other part of the economy, the population. 50% of households have no surplus money after buying essentials. They see that. So people who are in a good position economically, even they do not want to buy luxury goods. And again, this is the largest drop in luxury goods spending since 2008, in 17 years. That's a huge deal. So the unemployment rate, the job market, I'm not sure how to get past this, but one solution would be to lower interest rates. The way that would be done is if the Federal Reserve started buying 10-year treasuries, that would increase the price of 10-year treasuries, that would lower their interest rate, and because mortgages are tied to the 10-year treasury, that would also lower mortgage rates. And if the housing market, because it's not just the luxury goods market that's failing, the housing market has been failing for a while. If the housing market recovered, a lot of trades jobs would crop up. A lot of trades jobs would start employing people, and that would help the economy. Right now, the way the Fed is behaving, it's almost like they are purposely trying to hurt these markets. The luxury goods market is failing. Housing market is failing. People employed in the trades, they're really suffering. And that's that's millions of people in the economy. So it's almost like they're doing this on purpose because, I watched the interview with Jerome Powell today, and even some of the people who normally back him up are asking him why he's not lowering interest rates. So there's starting to be more and more attention on, what is going on here. But again, the takeaway here is we're at a 10-year low of people quitting their jobs, having the confidence to try to find a new job. 10-year low. We're at a 17-year low in luxury goods purchases. They haven't been this low since 2008. Those are big deals. That means the economy is not healthy. That means the employment rate is higher than that. And interest rates should come down. So I wanted to use luxury goods market to comment on the economy. And people in the luxury goods segment, they rely on people having confidence, consumer confidence, and being willing to spend discretionary money on luxury goods. Very few people are in that situation, willing to buy luxury goods right now. So if you're a parent with a college-age kid, you probably know this full well. If you have a kid graduating from college, looking for work, wow. Things are different out there. When I graduated from college, it was a recession, and it was tough. People could find job offers, but it was tough. And now it's much different. It's worse than when I graduated by a mile. It's a really different job market out there. So if you have any questions about this, please post in the comments. I'll try to answer any questions. And I really want to thank everyone for watching, and have a great day.